We are so fixated on being liked by people that, first of all, don't like themselves. In some cases, hate themselves or despise themselves when we ourselves don't like ourselves. Think about that. That's a cycle that most of us are perpetuating. We live in the cycle of, I don't like me. So, in order for me to be likable, I must be liked by somebody else who doesn't even like their damn selves. And we think that's normal. And so we continuously chase the validation of others. We continuously chase the acceptance of others. And in some cases, we actually get it. We get their approval because we do enough to get them to get the reaction or get a reaction out of them that we desire, that we believe is a sign of their affection, of their admiration, of simply attention in some cases. And we believe that to be love. Now, look, I don't blame you and I don't blame myself. I'm not going to blame mama or daddy, but I do know that it started as early as infancy when we mistakenly believed that attention meant love. And we needed that attention in order for us to have our basic needs met. In order for me to be fed, I needed to cry out. I couldn't talk. I couldn't. Can I have? I'm trying to figure out in my head. All that came out was wham, wham, wham. And if my need was not met, then I would find another way to get that attention, which was survival. Now, unfortunately, there was a disconnect that came at a certain point where we all made the connection of attention must mean love. Think about that. Why do we live in a society that is so addicted to attention? We have created an attention economy. The entire economy is based around how much attention can you get, where people don't even care about being financially wealthy anymore. They just care about being seen. They just want to be seen for any given reason, for the most diabolical reasoning. As long as they have attention on them, they believe themselves to be valuable because there is a direct correlation that we have made with love and attention. And so we look to be liked, quite literally. I want somebody to look at my video and click the like button, right? What they tell you in the beginning. Click the like button, click the like. I know, yeah, well, so the algorithm could pick up my video. We post pictures of ourselves. Do they like me? Do they like me? We post our little whatever it is, right? Our little vacation. Do they like it? Oh, look at what I just did with the house. Do they like it? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this is bad. I'm not saying it is wrong. This is not a question of morality, but instead a question of bondage and freedom. When we are living for the likes of the world, when we're living to be liked, we're living in bondage. And this is coming from a recovered people pleaser who lived his entire life looking for one thing and one thing only. I only had one source of life force at that point in my history, and that was the validation of another human being. It was really that simple. It didn't matter who it was, to be honest. Like it has to be this one person that gives you the validation. For me, I wanted it from as many people as possible and anybody who could give it to me. A stranger on the street, an individual I met in the damn coffee shop, right? Somebody to see me, to recognize me as a quote unquote good person, a likable person, an acceptable individual. Now, in hindsight, I came to understand that this was a byproduct of my religious upbringing, fundamental Christian household, where the highest ideal was to be a quote unquote good person, right? You got a role model to look up to like Jesus Christ. My God, what an expectation that is. Literally Mr. Perfect himself. And if you do not meet these standards within this household, you have fallen short of grace. But the only way you could be of true service to me is when you're serving you in the highest form. You can't do a damn thing for me if you're not living your purpose. You can't do nothing for me. All you can do for me is give me a little bit of your projected resentment, frustration, envy and jealousy, fear. That's all you can do for me if you're not living in alignment with your true self. It is only when you're living in that space, in that state of consciousness of, you know what, I'm going to make sure that I live from a real place and I project that outward. It's only then that you can ever do anything for anybody else. It's only when you like yourself that you can actually like me. People talk about they want to be in this relationship where somebody's basically going to save them from themselves. And I say, What have these movies done to you? Where they have you believe that, all of a sudden Prince Charming is gonna walk into your life and all of a sudden everything's gonna be different. That this perfect woman walks into your life, the one, and all of a sudden everything's gonna be different. It ain't gonna be any different because you still don't like you. They may absolutely adore you and see all that is best in you, but eventually, if they're smart, they will run for the hills because they have enough self-respect, or the relationship is gonna have a dissonance in it the entire time. There's gonna be a disconnect. Because if that person has true love within themselves, you still won't be able to receive that love. If you do not come to like yourself, anybody else's approval, acceptance, validation is going to mean nothing to you. It may fix that little temporary sensation. It may give you that instant gratification. It may very well be a rush of dopamine. But what it will not do is to solve the underlying problem. And that's what I'm getting to here. That's why I asked the question, do you even like yourself? Because if you can't answer that one honestly, if you can't answer that, and I'm not speaking of the arrogant answer. I'm not speaking of this new trend of, I'm a boss this, I'm a boss that, and I'm the one, I'm him, I'm her. Like I do say that sometimes jokingly, right, in jest, but if you can't say that to yourself in a real way, like I genuinely like myself, there's a lot of people who have a lot of the trappings of life, success seeming, a lot of money, etc. Like I look at ball players because I used to play a little ball back in the day. Obviously was not built for the NBA whatsoever. But there's a multitude of these guys who look like they have it all, right? You're supposed to have this perfect life. And many of those brothers, and I've been around some, they don't even believe in themselves. They don't like themselves. They believe in their skills and in their way to hoop or whatever it is. And it gives them a certain, almost like a shield, right? Or it gives them a projection into the world of being to somebody. But once that's gone, many of them have articulated how they become so depressed because they're no longer in that spotlight. It's like, who am I without that? Who am I without being this figure? And then, of course, the money dissipates. Who am I without that? When I say, do you like yourself? I'm not saying, do you like what you have? Or even, do you like what you do? I'm saying, do you like who you are? Can you be with yourself truly? The reason why you avoid meditation, deep, deep states of meditation, is because you're afraid to be with yourself for real. You're afraid of what may come up. You call it a waste of time, this, that, and the third. But really, it's like if you call being with yourself a waste of time, it shows you the relationship that you have with yourself. That's a bar. If you avoid time with you and see it as a waste of time, that is a direct indicator that you do not value your own personal time. You would rather call somebody up or, give your time and attention to Netflix, give your time and attention to this dude right here, Aquarius, whoever it may be. I would rather have you spend that quality time with yourself. Genuinely. I know every time you watch me here, or at least almost every time, oh yeah, I'm getting paid for that. But I would rather have you never watch again if you actually came to a place where you liked yourself. Because when you go into that space of true relationship or resonance with you, then your life starts to unfold in an authentic and real way. Because now you're not operating from a place of what does the world need from me, but what is it that's being called out of me? And then you are of greatest service to the rest of the world. If you're truly this person who's so concerned about the rest of the world, you must first take care of yourself. The words of Gandhi, be the change. Don't come out here and trying to change everybody else's diaper when yours is still full of. Fell in love in the night. I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I
fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up. You know them constellations.